Hello, on this Thursday of the ninth week of the year in Ordinary Time. Forgot to mention yesterday about M. Basil Pennington. Several of you will remember him as part of the forming of contemplative prayer for ourselves, developed in the 70s by Trappist monks, Father Pennington and Father Thomas Keating are the co-founders of the Centering Prayer movement in our own country. And Father Pennington was a friend of Thomas Merton. He also attended the Second Vatican Council. Centering Prayer movement gained a lot of popularity through the 80s and the 90s as they were trying to hold days of recollection, giving workshops on this particular prayer form. And he died yesterday in 2005 at the age of 73. This is one of his statements about centering prayer. Centering prayer is an opening, a response, a putting aside of all the debris that stands in the way of our being totally present to the present Lord so that he can be present to us. All of you younger folks, several of you would be confirmed on this Saturday, a couple of days from now. And you probably had already chosen someone to be your sponsor. It's interesting to note that in the early church, the sponsor was the person helping to prepare the catechumen for entering into the church by teaching them about the tradition of the faith and nurturing their prayer life and basically walking along with them. It was in the 5th century that the two got separated, two sacraments, baptism and confirmation, and so the role became known as a godparent for the person being baptized and a sponsor for confirmation. Sponsors now are to continue to help along the road of Christian life for the one that they sponsor, those of you who are being confirmed, safeguarding and developing the grace given at baptism, now sealed with the Holy Spirit. Sadly, today it seems like the role of the sponsor has been kind of becoming purely symbolic. Here's something from Mark Link reflecting on the gospel reading for today. The most important one is love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And Father Mark tells a story about an old rabbi. You may have heard this. He asked a disciple, "How can you tell when night is over and day has begun?" The disciple thought for a moment and said, "Could it be when you see an animal in the distance and you can tell that it's a lamb or a dog?" "No," answered the rabbi. "Think again." And so the disciple did, but to no avail. And so the rabbi then said to him, "It's when you can look into the face of another and see that it's your sister or your brother. If you can't see this, it's still night." And one last thing from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools.